Our first House projection right now, CNN projects that Jennifer Wexton, the Democratic challenger in Virginia, northern Virginia suburb of Washington, D.C. Jennifer Wexton will become the next U.S. representative from Virginia in that district. She beats the incumbent Republican Barbara Comstock. This is a big win for the Democrats. And as a result, the Democrats now need 22 Republican seats. They need 22 Republican seats. It's gone down from 23 in order to get the majority, Jake, in the House of Representatives, assuming they don't lose any of their own seats.
Well, this is not a surprise. This is a good pickup for the Democrats. It's not a surprise. This is the heart of the resistance, Northern Virginia. Hillary Clinton won this district 2 years ago. Barbara Comstock was able, she's a skilled politician, she was able to still win in 2016. But this time she had a very able opponent, soon-to-be Congresswoman-elect Jennifer Wexton, who labeled her, instead of Barbara Comstock, Barbara Trumpstock, and pointed out that even if she every now and then distanced herself from President Trump, she voted with President Trump. This is not a surprise, but it is it's the first big pickup for the Democrats.
But what does it say about potential other pickups?
It shows that Donald Trump, as we have been saying for a long time, and Republicans and Paul Ryan have been warning about for some time, is toxic in a lot of the suburbs, and specifically, and we'll get down to the breakdown in the exit polls about this, specifically with a lot of Republican and white college-educated women. And he's toxic with them because of the way he talks, because of the way he doesn't convey empathy at times when there is a national tragedy, and that was a motivating factor. This is also, of course, we should point out, largely a Democratic district, but it is one that a Republican had control over for several years.
Yeah, and it's, you and I know this district very well because it's suburbs of Washington, D.C. We're closing in on one of the most critical hours of this election night with the biggest round of poll closings coming up at 8 p.m. Eastern. All voting ends in Alabama, Connecticut, Delaware, the District of Columbia, Florida, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Mississippi, Missouri, New Hampshire, New Jersey, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and Tennessee. Jake, those states could hold the balance for the Democrats if they're going to do well tonight.
Absolutely, Wolf. In New Jersey and the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Democrats have an opportunity to win about 1/3 of the Republican-held House seats that they need to reclaim the majority. 1/3. Now, one of their best shots at a House pickup is in the Garden State, New Jersey. Former prosecutor and Navy helicopter pilot Mikey Sherrill is aiming to flip the open seat in her conservative-leaning district. She faces a Trump-backed Republican state lawmaker, Jay Weber. We're also watching 3 high-profile Senate contests in Florida, as we've been talking about. Democratic incumbent Bill Nelson currently leading the state's Republican governor, Rick Scott, with more than half of the votes already in from that state. In Missouri, Senator Claire McCaskill is one of the most vulnerable red state Democrats running for re-election. She faces the Republican Attorney General, Josh Hawley. And in Tennessee, former Democratic Governor Phil Bredesen and Republican Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn are in a toss-up race. This is one of the few states where Democrats have a shot, a thin shot, but a shot at winning a Republican-held Senate seat this evening. We'll see if there is a wave of any sort. We're also watching that high-stakes Florida governor's race. The Democratic mayor of Tallahassee, Andrew Gillum, now holding a solid lead in his bid to be the state's first ever African-American governor. His opponent, former Republican Congressman Ron DeSantis, is closely aligned with President Trump. Wolf?
Thanks very much. You know, things are going to start moving very quickly at the top of the hour when a whole bunch of these states close. But give us a big picture of where things stand in the House right now.
8 o'clock hour will give us many more clues to the House. You can start to get New Jersey. Democrats think they have some pickups there. Other results coming as well. But let's look at where we are right now. And as you were talking to me, as you started speaking, Wolf, something changed on the map, and I'll show you about it in a minute. These numbers can be a bit confusing because 56 Republicans are leading, most of them in solid Republican districts. 43 Democrats are leading, most of them in safe Democratic districts. So let's just filter it out and look at what are the races we're watching that we have not called that are potential pickup opportunities. And you see 11 Democrats leading in Republican-held districts, 1 Republican leading in Democrats districts. So we've already reduced the magic number to 22 by calling that Virginia race. Democrats, that would be halfway if they won all those races, halfway. The Republican district remains the same one we showed you earlier down here. I just want to say this is usually a safe Democratic district. We only have 4% of the vote. We'll see if this plays out. Midterm elections, every election can bring a surprise. This would be a big surprise if Sanford Bishop loses his House district down there, especially in a year like this. So where are the Democratic targets of opportunity? We have a couple out here in Ohio. I just want to come back into Virginia because this one has been back and forth all night long. We've already called this. So if you're watching at home, you say, what about the 10th district? It's not on this map because we've called this race for Jennifer Wexton. So we'll come back here now. This is one who's been going back and forth all night. So let's just check. The Democrat, Abigail Spanberger, now 2,500 votes ahead, 50%, 48%, a very close race still. In the 7th congressional district, one of the big battlegrounds inside Virginia, Democrats are hoping not just to get the 10th, but to get one, possibly two, but one more. They want
almost
this one.
half the vote is in.
They want this one out of Virginia, almost half the vote. The question is it from the suburbs or is it from up here? So we're going to watch this one as we go through the night. Let's pull it back out. See more targets of opportunity for the Democrats in North Carolina. This one here would be a bit of a surprise, but we're going to check in on it. The Democrat leading in this race in South Carolina. That would be a pickup opportunity. And if you're the Democrats, you have a list of, we got to win these. You got another list of, we'd really like to win these and we think it's possible. And then you have a list of, okay, if there is a big blue wave, can we get some others? And so we'll watch this play out. Florida, critical to the Democratic hopes. And they are right now, leading. And remember, you've got the Democratic candidate leading for Senate, the Democratic candidate leading for governor. Sometimes there's a coattail effect. These Democrats, these races were competitive anyway. But you have the Democrats leading here in Florida 18. Brian Mast is the Republican incumbent. That's a pretty healthy lead with 35% of the vote in, but it's only 35%, so we'll keep counting. That would be a pickup for the Democrats there. Let's come on down here. You come down here. This is a Republican incumbent, another Republican incumbent. Brian Mast won. He's losing at the moment. Carlos Corbello trailing at the moment. Pretty close. It's a much closer race so far. Watch this one play out. This has been hotly contested. A moderate Republican at odds with the White House quite frequently. In the neighboring district here, again, Donna Shalala leading. But that's pretty close. That's pretty close. Both of these races likely to be affected by the governor's race and the Senate race.
Well, let's take a look at the Florida senator's race and governor's race. Looks like it's getting a little...
Just one more quick point I want to make because we've been tracking this race all night. What's missing? The Republican has moved ahead in Kentucky 6. And so we're going to watch this. It's 66%. It's a 4,600 vote lead. But this was a target of opportunity for the Democrats on the outer limit. If they're winning here, they think they're getting to 30, somewhere in the ballpark of 30 seats. But that one has switched back now. So let's come back to the map. You want to look. Let's pull back out Florida. Let's switch over to the Senate. You see the map starting to fill in. And you see this is Florida. You could change the names, and you'd have a very close race. And what do we have? 51-49, 92,000 votes. That's a healthy lead. You're happy to have it. In a state like Florida, that can change. The question is, can it change?